Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody doing? This is my second attempt at doing this video. First attempt, no, actually, it's my third attempt. First attempt, Facebook decided they were going to block me, so that was a non-starter. Second attempt was a YouTube live, and you just got 20 minutes of me talking and no screenshots. So now I'm actually going to do a normal training, record the screen, and then I'm going to stick it on Facebook and YouTube. And I think from now on, I don't know how long the Academy has been running now. Let me think. 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, I don't know. I think I'm going to move towards Zoom, and there's a couple of reasons to do the lives. It's, in a way, it's not so good because, Facebook, people get to jump on and watch who might not necessarily know about the videos, and that's great for, getting exposure to more people so I can help more people. Zoom, you don't get that natural exposure. I think the advantage of Zoom, I say advantage, is that people can jump on and ask questions. Now that can work two ways. It can be positive, but it could also get quite messy. So I might see how it goes, but obviously if Facebook continued to mess me about, then it's not really worth my while doing that, which is why I do try and encourage you guys to help me get my messages out there by liking, commenting and sharing, not just on Facebook but on YouTube as well. So this is going to go out there on YouTube and Facebook anyway. So first of all, these were our trades in the Academy. So this is what the members got from me last week. So so this is inside the Academy. Okay. Now, most of the training that I provide is in or is on my website. So there's a members area, you log in, you get your login details when you join, and most of the content, all the training courses and the Academy training is in there. But, I also put lives in here sometimes, and we've got, a unit section now where people ask certain questions about aspects of trading, whether it's how we enter our trades or, the criteria that we look for before entering a trade. Sometimes I'll just do short and sweet videos here as a recap, or, just as a basics that you can dip into rather than go back to the Academy. So, there is a valuable training placed in here as well, but predominantly it's somewhere where you can come and ask questions, and 9 times out of 10 you'll get a response from me, usually relatively quickly. I do try and respond to people in a timely manner. We've got members all around the world, so if you post a question 2 o'clock in the morning my time, I might not see it immediately, obviously, but what's good about posting in here is that as time progresses and we've got a bigger community, we've got some very good traders in here now who can answer the questions when I'm not there, or contribute as well. So you can post your own setup in here, whether it's to be critiqued or whether it's just to share. The fact that people share their trade ideas in here is great, but the majority of them at the moment are my trade ideas. Okay, now what happens is, for example here, I give the currency pair, the time frame and the time that I post. This is relatively new, but I thought it was a good addition to give the time there, so when people see it, it's easy for them to see when this was posted. But it doesn't always mean that this is the time that you enter the trade, because what's happening is I'm telling you, you know, this is what we're looking out for when price reaches here, and if it does A, B, and C, then you can enter your trade. So I might give you the details, and it might be another hour before that happens. It might be 5 minutes before that happens. So it varies. And that way, you know, you learn to become independent and you become a successful trader yourself. If I give you, you know, this is your entry, this is your stop, this is your take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit fee 3, you know, you're being spoon-fed and you're not going to learn. This way, you learn. Now, you know, when you first start in demo, start with a small account size, and you risk 2%. You know, even when you've got, you know, even when you're trading consistently and you're profitable consistently and you have more funds behind you, you still trade with a 2% risk. But when you're learning, you take your time, okay? These are, you know, potential trade ideas, potential setups, okay? Now, these potential setups that I posted last week, where are we? Now this excludes the weekly analysis that I do for everybody, which normally consists of, you know, 8 or 9 trades, something like that. And quite often, this could be an element of them weekly trades, okay? But we had 14 trades over the course of the week that were called out by myself. We had 11 wins and 3 losses, okay? And here you can see I've just stuck down in a notepad the time that the trade was called, or the trade idea was called, and then the result. So you can see the losses there and you can see the gains there. So to give you some examples, this was pound JPY. Let's close that for a sec. So we can see here the market was just contracting, it was consolidating, it came up to our trend line. Let's just clear some of this because it's a bit messy. This one I've obviously got a bit carried away with my training. Done some training on here at some point. Let's just go to our daily quickly. And we can see where we're at currently. And you know, this was one of our weekly trade setups, and we've got left shoulder, head, right shoulder with what we're looking for, and then for the market to come back down to this area here, which is your support. Okay, so we've traded a fraction of this. Okay, daily time frame trades, obviously one of these candles takes a day to form, so we're not going to end up down here next week. Okay, so if we drop to lower time frame trades now, that was our line. Let's just go back a sec. So see how I'll stop. So see how price, I've drawn our trend line from the bottom up to the top, and it dissects the head of the head and shoulders. And the reason I do that is to get confirmation that the market is going to drop. It has to break this trend line. So you get your drop, you get a retest, and then you can look to enter your sell to bring it down. So what we did in effect, is trade that break that you just saw on the daily time frame. This is where we entered, or this is where the trade was posted, and you can see, you know, from there down, I mean, if you came down to here, it would be 104 pips, you know, depending on where you got out. You know, the maximum you would have got was 144 pips, and it's retracing back up, and it will probably drop some more, because as we saw on the daily, you know, we're looking for it, in all honesty, to drop. That's where price is currently, you know, 760 pips is what we're looking for. Pound USD. Now we started to test Renko, or I taught how to trade Renko last week for the first time, with the idea that it makes things so much cleaner, so much easier, especially for the newer members of the academy, or for someone who just wants, you know, things to be a bit more clearer. So I did a training on how to use Renko, and came up with a strategy on how we could use it. So this is where the trade was called, and I got in here a bit too early, to be honest. Okay, we got quite a bit of drawdown. Well, from there, you know, 70 pips, 74 pips drawdown, but now where we were looking for this drop here, sorry, where we were looking for that drop over here, the market continued up a bit more before we eventually got that drop. Okay. EuroCAD, same thing again. Caught it here. Price was testing the top of our resistance area, and we took it all the way down. Or JPY. Now this one got in here, and all I was looking to do was to grab, you know, 25 pips, 30 pips up to the 50% line in our fibs. So we've drawn from high, sorry, from high to low, and we were looking for the reversal. And I actually thought that there was a possibility that when we hit the 50%, we would get that. But it continued up to the 78, and then we got our pullback and headed up. So, you know, we got in here, up to the 50% is where I suggested the take profit one, but obviously it's gone up, you know, considerably more, up to the 78.6 before reversing back down again. Euro AUD. Now this was one of our losing trades. Euro AUD with all the indicators, and I'm not going to put all the indicators on back now, but it was suggesting that price should reverse. Now when you look at the trend line, we had we were looking for price to come back up, but in actual fact it just dropped some more, so we lost out on that one. Odd Swiss franc, another nice trade, got in here. So sorry, this was not where we got in, but this was where the trade idea was called. Okay, looking for either price to reject off of our trend line or potentially, come up to as far as here. And there's our previous high, and then we took it down to the floor. Pound AUD. Again, this was the one where we had our trend line touch and the possibility of it coming back up to test this high, so this resistance area here. We see we came up and it tagged it, and again, 365 pips down to support. So again, double top. And then we've got Odd Swiss franc. We've seen, Odd Swiss franc. This was another losing trade. So we lost 3 out of 14. I haven't shown you them all because it'll take me an hour to go through them all. But this was one of the other losing ones. Again, looking for the double top, come up to the resistance area and then drop down to support. But as we can see, it kicked up. Stop loss would have been above the wicks, and we got taken out. But it came back down again. Now the interesting thing was, in the actual description of the trade idea, I said, potential trade idea here. It'll be easy on the line, probably not. So potential trade idea here, but to be conservative, wait for your trend line to be crossed before placing your sell. And that was, that was here that I mentioned it, hoping that it would cross here. But obviously it's come up, taken us out here, but only now is it looking like it's going to drop through our trend line. Okay, and then if it clears this neckline here and doesn't reject and go back up, we can then possibly take it back down to support. And that's the kind of thing that we do every day. If the setups are there, I post them in the academy, and then people can, members can analyze it and just keep an eye on it and learn from it that way. They can trade them in demo and practice getting into the trade and when to get out of the trade, and that way you learn. Having the info spoon-fed to you, you don't really appreciate exactly what's going on, or you have no appreciation usually of what's going on. So this way you learn. Okay, so let's have a look at a pair for you. I did have one. I did mark up one in my video that only just had me talking. Let's have a look. Hello.
Hello.
What's that?
Have you seen my slime anywhere?
No.
That's helpful.
It was helpful, wasn't it?
I know.
Okay, I can't remember what we were looking at now.
By the way, Dad, that was taught in a good way. Not being helpful.
I know, that's it. What we got going on here? So let's mark this one up. I'm not sure where we're at with this, but you can appreciate and get something from it anyway, I'm sure. So on the daily time frame, let's go to our line chart, and you can see immediately that we have an area of resistance. Okay, so that's our ceiling. We have our support. And then, now all you really need to do after that is just add a trend line. You don't really need to do that, but it does help. So, now if you start, let's just change the colour just so it's easy to see. So the best way to draw trend lines, and I covered this in the trend line course a long time ago now, you can start with it vertical, okay, and you can just drag it over, and you're looking for the most amount of data points or touches. Now it's easy for you to just come here and say, right, we've got our bounce, we're now looking for it to head up, okay, and retest this area here. Fine. As you know, if we're looking for the market to come down, it's got to break this trend line first. Well, what if, actually the trend line should have been here, and it broke, came up, retested, starting to come back up again, and then drops. So it's already broken. Or maybe it should go here. If you put your candles back on, you can then get a better idea and see, well, yeah, well, actually, I do like that. Or if I tweak it here, it lines up well here, 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 and here. So actually, I prefer this because I've got data point here, another data point here with a lovely big rejection off that wick, another nice rejection, and then rejection here as well. Yeah? Now the market's got nowhere to go. To get through this ceiling, we need a nice big engulfing candle. If you got a half bit attempt, with lots of small little candles, just touching but not actually breaking through, then there's a possibility that it's just going to, come back down and break through our trend line. If we get this with a nice, bullish engulfing candle, then there's a possibility that we break through, retest what was our ceiling, now becomes support, and the market takes off. If that doesn't happen, then what we're looking for is price to break through, retest, and then drop this way. So it's not a matter of being right, okay? We don't guess what the market is going to do. We map out the potential direction that the market is going to move, because it can go three ways. It can go up, market can go down, up, and it can go sideways. When the market opens tomorrow evening, it could open up here, or it could open right on our trend line again. So, we wait to see what the market tells us it's going to do. If it comes up and tests and rejects this area again, then, you can look to sell it back down. But remember, we're in an uptrend at the moment. So if price is down here, then potentially you could trade it back up to your ceiling again. And this is no small trade. This is still 100 plus pips. Daily time frame. Okay? And if you want, confirmations on that, you can come down to your lower time frames and you can see, right, this is our trend line. We can see we've got to move up, a reversal, and it started to push off. But look, I was going to say there's almost a kind of like a double top, but you know, not, if that makes sense, because it didn't start down here, and this isn't really your neckline. But it could still reverse back. So use your Bollinger Bands. Is price overbought or oversold? Well, it was overbought here, look, and it started to reverse back again. You know, you can look for divergence in the market as well and say, right, well, you know, price is heading up, you know, from here to here, but my indicators are heading up as well, so there's no divergence. So unlikely that we're going to get a reversal, so it should head back up again. Okay, so all these things will help you decide when a good time is to enter your trade. So here we are on Renko. Why is that not closing? Oh, I know why. Just me being silly. Right. So, and with Renko, here's our trend line. You could draw another trend line here. And what we're looking for is price to break through our two moving averages. When price is this side of our moving average, we can look to take it up. But while it still remains underneath or in between our moving averages, if you go to the candles, you can see now we're looking for price to clear away from our moving averages, and then, you know, coupled with your other criteria, that's another indication that price is going to go up. Or, you know, there's a whole host of things that you can use. Stochastics is down here. You know, if it's oversold, that would potentially give you the indication. MACD, again, you know, the signal, when the signal breaks the histogram, gives you indication that momentum is changing and you can enter your trade. So all of these things help with your entry and your exits once you learn how to use it. So I hope that's useful. Hopefully now you've actually got to see my screen and not me just talking for 20 minutes. If you have any questions, comments, do let me know. Let me know how you got on last week. You know, did you have any good trades? Was there a trade that you thought was going to go well and didn't? You know, drop it in the comments, and you know, maybe it's something that we can have a look at. If you found the video useful, you know, do please help me help others by sharing, liking, leaving a comment, etc. If you're new to my YouTube channel and you're watching this on YouTube, whack the subscribe button so you get, you know, notifications on when I place a new video. And likewise with Facebook as well, if you see this on Facebook, then, you know, make sure that you subscribe to the Facebook page or the Facebook group, and again you'll get notifications on when new videos are uploaded. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate you, you know, taking the time to watch some of the content that I produce, and have a great week, have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.